Okay, hi besties, welcome or welcome back. I've been filming this intro for like the past 10 minutes, so this is gonna be it. Today I'm going to give you some recommendations and I'm going to talk about my favorite books and I'm going to talk about the books that I have given 5 stars. If you follow my TikTok and if you follow me here, you probably know that I like most books. Like, I am not very picky. I rate most of my books a 4, 4.5, and 5. There have been like very few books that I haven't liked, so it's actually rare for me to not like a book. But today I'm going to be sharing the books that I love, like my top reads, the 5-star reads that I love and that you should read. I have 10 books to share with you guys today. Let's go ahead and get started. So you probably know how we're going to start this video. Yeah, you probably know, because yes, I'm going to start this video by talking about Colleen Hoover. You guys, if you're new here, I am obsessed with Colleen Hoover. She's an author. She's my favorite author. I love her books. I love her books. So I'm going to be sharing my top 2 books. So let's start with my second favorite from her. So, unpopular opinion, the book that I'm going to share, I say that it's very underrated and it's one of my favorites, and I don't know why people don't like it as much as the others. So this book is Confess. I love everything about this book. Like, the character development is just so good. So good. I love this book so much. This book is about Auburn and Owen. So this book starts really sad. I'm just gonna say it. It starts really sad, but it gets better. This book starts with Auburn, the main character, when she was like 14, 15 years old. And it starts with her and her current boyfriend, but that boyfriend is sick. Like, they are 14, 15. Obviously, the boyfriend is sick. What happens? I'm not gonna say it, but you guys probably know. And the actual story starts when she's like older, like in her 20s, and Auburn basically moves to a new city. She lives with a roommate. She has to get a job. So one time when she was walking back to her apartment, she finds a art gallery that's looking for like people. So she enters the art gallery, and there is where she meets Owen. So that is where the whole story starts. But like, the very rare thing that happens is that Owen, when he sees her, he recognizes her, but she doesn't recognize him. It's a whole story. At the end, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh. The love story, the Colleen Hoover plot twist at the end. Go read this book. Do it, please, for me. Go read the book. Okay, my favorite book of all time, actually, is Ugly Love. This book is about Miles and Tate. Long story short, Tate moves to a new city. She stays with her brother because she doesn't have a place to live. Her brother lives in like a luxury apartment, and the day that she goes and moves into the apartment, when she gets to like the front door of the apartment, she sees a guy, like a passed out guy, like drunk. Super drunk, and she's like, what the hell? She calls her brother, and her brother tells her like, wait a minute, I'm going to call my neighbor so he can help you. And when he calls her back, he tells her that the neighbor is actually the guy in the front door, the passed out guy. So that is Miles, and that is the first impression that Tate got from Miles. Friends with benefits, but Miles is the guy that doesn't want a relationship. He doesn't want love or to feel anything for that matter, and at the end you see why, and obviously there's a plot twist. The book comes together, and I love the ending. It does have a happy ending. I love it so much. I don't have a single bad thing to say about this book. I just want you to read it and let me know if you like it. I know a lot of you guys have read this book because I recommended it, and it makes my day when you guys DM me or comment on my videos that you read the book and you loved it. Okay, next I want to talk about some recent reads. Literally, I just finished these books, so I wanted to give my opinions because I'm obsessed. I found a new author that I love and I'm so happy. So I'm gonna be talking about the Twisted series. So these books are by Anna Huang. You can follow her on TikTok, on Instagram. She is the best. And these are like the discreet covers because I love these covers so much. The 3rd book is coming out January, I think. I'm not sure, but 2022. So I'm gonna be talking about the first book, Twisted Love. So this is the first book of the series. It is recommended that you read the books in order, but the books have different characters. This book is about Ava and Alex. This book has the like grumpy sunshine trope and the brother's best friend trope. So basically Ava is in college. She lives in an apartment and her brother is her neighbor. And her brother is super protective of her. So the story starts with her brother actually moving to another country and her brother asks Alex to like look over her while he's gone. So they actually make a pact and Alex actually moves in to her brother's apartment, which means that they are now neighbors. But there are so many plot twists in this book and like you never get bored because so many things are happening that you are not gonna get bored. It does have a happy ending, but it's an unexpected ending. And actually when I finished this book, immediately I started the second book, which is Twisted Games. So in the first book, you kind of get to see like Ava, which is the main female character, with her best friends. She has a group of best friends and one of her best friends is Bridget. Bridget is like a literal princess from a different country. This book is about Bridget. And Bridget, since she is like a princess and expecting to be a queen someday, has a bodyguard. She has been with the same bodyguard for like 3 years, and this bodyguard decides to like retire and step down from the job, which means that she needs to get a new bodyguard. And this new bodyguard is named Reese, but they are enemies at the beginning. And so many things happen, and obviously there's like this forced proximity, but she is like a literal princess. She cannot be with like a bodyguard. So that is the whole story of the book. This is my new favorite series. Literally my new favorite series. Thank you, Anna Huang, for writing these books. They are so good. Like, if you want a spicy book, go read them. I'm not the best person at explaining books, so sorry if I'm taking too long. So let's talk about Taylor Jenkins Reid. And her like very famous books are The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and Daisy Jones and the Six. So I don't want to get like into detail about the story of these two because I already did get into detail in another video, which I'm gonna put right over here if you wanna go watch it. I also have a reading blog for Daisy Jones and the Six if you wanna go see my reactions and everything. Go watch that video because I have everything there. But I gave these two books 5 stars. Like, they are so freaking good. But I'm gonna give you like a little synopsis so you know what the book is about. So this book is about Evelyn Hugo and her life, but it is written from the point of view of a journalist writer who is interviewing Evelyn Hugo. And this writer is going to literally make a book about Evelyn Hugo's life. And there is a plot twist at the end. Stick around. I know it gets like a little bit repetitive, but it's worth it. I loved the ending so much. It's so good. It's so well written. I recommend it 100%. Next, I have Daisy Jones and the Six. This book is also written by the perspective of a writer-journalist who is interviewing Daisy Jones, and the Six, the part of the Six, is a rock band. The entire book is a set of interviews with like the different characters. So just so you know, a lot of people say that it's really like cool listening to the audiobook of this book because since it is like written in an interview perspective, you kind of get to hear the thoughts of every single character. And basically it's the life of Daisy Jones. She's like this it girl in the 70s living in LA. She's young, her parents never pay attention to her. She basically can do whatever she wants. Since the age of like 15, she goes to clubs, drinks, does drugs. She's like all over the place. And the other section of the book is where you get to meet all of the members of the Six, which is the band. And at one point in the book, Daisy Jones and the Six, which is the band, come together and they become Daisy Jones and the Six. Okay, this video is going to be very long. Oh my gosh. So I have 4 books left. So the next book is The Deal by Elle Kennedy. I have talked about this book so much. So this is actually a series. This is the first book of the Off-Campus series, and the Off-Campus series has 4 books. And it's based on like a group of 4 guys, which they are best friends. They live in an off-campus house. It is like a college romance type of book. So if you like that, I would recommend this. It is spicy, it is funny. This book is about the first guy in the friend group, which is Garrett. Garrett meets Hannah, and that is a whole love story, and I love it so much. I'm not going to get into detail because there are so many things I could say about this book, and I would be here all day. But if you like the things that I just mentioned, go read the book. It's so good. Okay, the next book is by Penelope Douglas, and honestly, Penelope Douglas is not my favorite author because her books are very different. Like, they have very different tropes and like topics, but one of the books that I really like and really enjoyed is Birthday Girl. So this book has the age gap trope, the forced proximity trope, and like the cheating trope, but it is 18 plus, so you know. If you like all the things that I just mentioned, go ahead and read it. It's super spicy, super good, worth it. The next book is The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. This book is chunky. This book is about Catalina and Aaron. They are like co-workers, but they hate each other. Like, they are enemies. They like hate each other, and this is like an enemies to lovers slow burn. Like, this is such a slow burn, so be patient. I love the ending so much, and that's why I gave it 5 stars. I normally don't like slow burns. I just don't have patience, but I loved so much this ending that it's so cute and wholesome. I just loved it, and I think you will too. Okay, last book is more of like a fantasy with romance, but more fantasy. This book I have talked about, and it's The Daughter of the Siren Queen, and this is actually a duology, and this is the second book from the duology. The first book is named The Daughter of the Pirate King, so you probably have seen me talk about this book. I don't read much fantasy. I'm not a fantasy girl, but this is the exception. I love this book so much. If you like the movies of like the Pirates of the Caribbean, you just need to read this book. Obviously it talks about pirates, but it also talks about like sirens and all that stuff. It has a like badass female character, main female character, which I love. It also mentions so many other female characters, and the book has such a like good vibe. Like, while reading this book, I was so happy. Like, it was so entertaining, so different. I loved it so much. It also has enemies to lovers, forced proximity, and I am mentioning the second book because the first one actually wasn't my favorite. I think I gave it like a 4.5 out of 5 stars, but this one was a 5-star read. Oh my god, I have been talking for like an hour. These are literally my favorites. I know this is going to be a series. This whole video is going to be a series because I have more books that I want to like mention and talk about. So if you want a part 2, let me know because I will make a part 2. I love talking about my favorite books. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye. You had flowers in your hand, you were dancing with your headphones on, didn't care then. Everyone was watching you moving.